Hello, people of the internet, my name is Johnny, and welcome to a brand new FNAF news video. And in today's video, we have a bunch of brand new posts from Steelwool Studios to take a look at that very well could be our very first teases for the next official mainline FNAF game. So if you're excited to theorize with me once again, scroll down, tickle that subscribe button. In the words of Jason Blumhouse, we are getting dangerously close to FNAF's 12th anniversary, and I'd say it is very likely that we're going to get some big reveal on that day. At least I hope, so subscribe because you don't want to miss out on that. So like I said, today we have even more posts from Steelwool to take a look at. You may have seen my previous video theorizing on the next Steelwool Studios FNAF game because of a post that they put out. And I think it's worth remembering that we do know that Steelwool is working on a FNAF game. We've known this for 2 years now, since all the way back in 2024 in Dawko's interview with Scott, where he confirmed that Steelwool Studios is working on a FNAF game after Secret of the Mimic.
And there is another game planned with Steelwool, but that's not going to be announced for a while yet. So I can't talk about that. But there is something down the pipe. Even beyond what's being announced this week, there's something beyond, but I can't talk about that.
And historically, Steelwool has started full-on development of their next game after the release of their most recent game. And with Secret of the Mimic now being over a year old, and their next game having been at least in the planning stages for 2 years now, I'd say it's very likely that they're currently developing it, and I really think that's why they outsourced Mimic VR to Devoted Studios, because main Steelwool Studios was focusing on the next game. But why are we talking about the next FNAF game right now? And it's really for 2 reasons. Number 1, the upcoming 12th anniversary. Historically, we have gotten reveals for the next Steelwool game on the anniversary, in the case of Security Breach, Secret of the Mimic, and also there's the more like meta aspect of it that we haven't had a FNAF reveal in quite a long time, and FNAF fans are getting pretty antsy, so I do feel like it is in Scott and Steelwool's best interest to give us fans something to chew on, and actually something to chew on, you know, not stuff that could or could not be FNAF, like what we're talking about today. So that's why I'm back for a second video to talk about the more recent posts we've gotten, but first, let me catch you up to speed on last video, because this was the post that kicked off everything. It said no secrets, no hidden clues, no teaser, no countdown, just 3 differences, probably, eye emoji, how fast can you spot them? And attached was 2 images of this indoor pool area. There were in fact 3 differences, one of the floaties on the wall, the one in the pool, and then one off to the right hand side. And there were some FNAF fans that are like, alright, they very clearly say there is nothing secret in here, there's no point trying to speculate, but then they did also say probably in a couple of eye emojis. So if you allow me to, I would like to speculate, and that's what we did last video. We did a whole lot of theorizing on the connections that these images have to FNAF overall, the white and black checkered flooring, the floaties being chickens, maybe a reference to Chica, especially following a game that very prominently showed us Chica's party world, and then in a lot of Steelwool's projects, Chica has been heavily affiliated with aquatic theming, so having a chicken floaty in a pool, once again ties into that Chica aquatic theme, and fans have been speculating on that connection for years. Why is Chica so heavily affiliated with all of these aquatic themes, especially back during Ruin? With the Chica Chowder poster, a lot of FNAF fans thought Ruin was going to have some aquarium or aquatic theme to it. We also drew theories from the books, right? Some Mechanophobia, a Tales from the Pizzaplex story that has a FNAF-themed water park, Freddy's Fantasy Water Park, as well as the story Drowning, where a girl at the Mega Pizzaplex gets trapped in a VR game, where she gets trapped in an endless labyrinth of rooms with tiled walls and pools, which are very similar to the images that we got from Steelwool. So that's a pretty quick rundown of everything we went through last video. I'll leave it linked down below if you want to go more in depth with this particular post. But since then, we have gotten 3 other posts that I want to take a look at. The first one is another how quickly can you guess the character, and you should be able to tell already if you haven't picked it up. I don't know what to tell you. It must be LARPing as a fake FNAF fan, because that right there is Party Time Chica from Secret of the Mimic, which again is so interesting because it is another post from Steelwool teasing something with Chica, or at least involving Chica in some capacity. Of all the characters in Secret of the Mimic, why did they specifically choose Chica? And all of this Chica speculation is not even taking into account Chica's Secret Party. Very quick explanation, Chica's Secret Party is a chapter in Ultimate Guide 2.0, released back in December, that has been stumping FNAF fans for months. The chapter details Chica's Secret Party, which apparently was a long-forgotten 2016 FNAF game that was only available on scottgames.com for like 3 days. It shows gameplay screenshots, it has an entire breakdown breakdown of all the levels in this quote-unquote game, but fans have been grappling for months. Is this a troll by Scott? Is this teasing an official game? What is this? So I don't know, maybe I'll make a video on Chica's secret party. I'd love to know, what do you guys think that thing is? But like, again, that's another teaser with Chica. What is going on? But getting back to Steel Wool, this is the next tweet that I wanted to talk about, was the NDA candies from Help Wanted 2. We were approved to reveal one thing today. It's the ingredients list for Helpy's NDA mints. And it says, did you know in Help Wanted 2, Helpy's NDA mint candy has the following ingredients: sugar, oil, recycled pizza, artificial mint flavoring, and green dye. It also has 300 servings per customer. Would you try one? I saw a lot of people that were like, oh my god, wait, do you guys think they're under NDA and they can't tweet about the next FNAF game, and so that's why they're making all these weird posts? And it's like, yeah, I think that was the joke of this post. So very clearly, Steel Wool, and I'm sure Scott, because I'm sure Scott has to approve anything that they use that has like FNAF in it to tweet about. Like, they know fans are starving, but very clearly they are not ready to talk about what they're working on yet. Maybe because they're saving it for a special reveal on the anniversary. But like, this post, very plain and simple, clear as day. They are working on something. They are not ready to tease it just yet, and so they're having to kind of work around that by making these strange posts. I think these strange posts are being made, and I said this last video as well, I think they're making these weird posts to be like, hey guys, we're posting more, pay attention to what we're posting, even if it's not FNAF just yet, but we're gearing up for something. They're getting fans ready to speculate. I can't remember if I said this already, but like, I saw a lot of people be upset that YouTubers were making posts about these posts, and it's like, dude, we're having fun. That's what FNAF's all about. At the end of the day, it's having fun theorizing. Even if these posts aren't about FNAF, we're still getting a conversation going. I'm talking about what I want the next FNAF game to be. I'm talking about what I think Steel Wool should be posting in lead up to that. I'm talking about dates that I think we should stay on the lookout for, like the anniversary. You guys gave me your theories in the comments the last video, talking about what game you want from Steel Wool next. Also some things that I didn't even think of. For example, there was a lot of people in the comments the last video that were like, oh my gosh, what if the next game is like Observation Duty? With these recent posts being spot the differences, what if that's a hint to like the gameplay of the next game? We have to like find the FNAF anomalies. Like, that'd be so cool. That's something we're getting in some of the Fanverse games. It'd be cool to get that in the mainline games as well. And again, even if that's not in the next FNAF game, we're theorizing about it. We're having fun speculating, oh, but how would that work in an official FNAF game? It's fun. And so going back to the spot the differences post, this was the second one and most recent one, which already is a bold move to do it again, because you saw how the reception to the last one went down. A lot of people thinking that this was a teaser for the next game. So to double down and triple down with the NDA post and quadruple down with the Guess the Chica post. Again, I don't think these posts are accidents. I feel like they are teasing something, and it's fun to speculate. So let's dive into this one. So we got another tiled room, which already is like, okay, so we're getting a very similar theme across the two posts. So like, could they be in the same building? It's weird though, because this room does have carpet, which is a very stark contrast to carpet and then like metal tiled walls, it looks like. Also, just the setup of this room is so weird. Maybe you could say this was like hastily thrown together in Blender. And I will say again, I don't think the images that we're getting are in-game for the next game, if they are for FNAF. I think it's just to give us like an idea of the aesthetic or like the environments. The glasses display isn't even back up against the wall. It's like separated a bit. It's hollow on the right-hand side. It's not on the left. Like it seems so off. It's kind of weird. Maybe that could be part of the gameplay. You know, we brought up anomalies. Maybe we enter a room and it looks all weird. I mean, last video when we were theorizing about the next game being like an aquarium or a water park, we brought up those like liminal space pool areas, which were so freaky. We were saying like, how cool would it be to have those environments in the next 3D FNAF game? But also, how trippy would it be if in the rooms, in these liminal space rooms, there were like anomalies or the rooms looking weird or out of place? If you want to know what I'm talking about, think of like the back rooms. How all the furniture would be like clipped into the floor or into the wall. Like, imagine that kind of aesthetic. I don't know. Maybe that's too weird, but again, it's fun to speculate. There was also a pretty big conversation about the caption itself. A future so bright, you have to wear shades. You've got future, which could relate to the future of FNAF, the future FNAF game coming up. But also, there was a lot of speculation because it kind of matches up with the caption that we first got for Secret of the Mimic. That was like, to understand the future, you first have to see the past. So if Secret of the Mimic was the past to the future, that was Secret of the Mimic, but more specifically Ruin, could this future be referencing the continuation of that future? The continuation of Security Breach of Ruin, Ruin 2? Ruin 2 was a pretty big speculation back when Scott Cawthon said that they're working on a sequel project. And also, it's been over 3 years now, happy recent 3rd anniversary to Ruin. We need the continuation of the Ruin story. We need to see what happens next with the Mimic, what happens with Cassie. Also, there is more security breach imagery in this post with the glasses, because those yellow star sunglasses are very interesting because we've seen them before on our favorite buff Monty. I've seen some fans speculate that the glasses down here could also represent Chica, Roxy, Freddy, and Monty, or just Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica. But then if we're really looking at the sunglasses, we've technically seen another pair of these before in the past, though I don't think it has any connection, but I wanted to call it out nonetheless. These pink star glasses we have seen in a previous Scott Cawthon game, VIP Woodland Casino, featuring Chipper. Now, could this be hinting that Chipper's finally gonna come back and get his ultimate revenge in the next mainline FNAF game? Could we finally be getting the FNAF Casino game that I know all of us, that's right, all of us have been waiting for? But getting back on topic, we do have sun emoji, sunglass emoji, sunglasses in the post. Clearly trying to go for a summer theme that could just be Steelwool referencing the season that we're in right now. Could also be connecting back to the previous Spot the Difference that had a pool, summer theme, aquatic themed, FNAF Aquarium game reel. But I have yapped long enough. I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on the Steelwool post? Do you think they are teasing something FNAF? I feel like they're just being too deliberate with it, that if they're really not teasing anything, I will be very shocked. I think at the very least, they're posting more. They're trying to get fans engaged with their account. So when the anniversary does come in like a week's time, there's already a lot of eyes and attention on the account. There's already a lot of fans in the speculating mindset. I do feel like they're trying to gear us up for something. And again, at the end of the day, theorizing is just fun. But that's going to do it for today's FNAF news video. Thank you guys so much for watching and theorizing with me, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.